All right, good morning, everybody. Appreciate y'all being here. Coming off game Saturday night, just going back and watching it, seeing the way that our guys played, the way they responded. So very proud of our football team. And there was adversity, definitely not the start that we wanted. Just really in all phases, had some mistakes, there early. Defensively, I think allowed 5 of the first 6 third down conversions. They were able to have 2 extended drives. Really kept possession of the ball. We had 1 possession in the first half, went 3 and out, which is you never want to do that. We struggled to really get any rhythm or anything going. There early, but being on the road, hostile, adverse situations, that showed up. I mean, our team, just did a remarkable job of being in control of the things they could control, of going out there and playing discipline, being able to respond the way that they're trained to respond, and it's their heart, their determination, and just the whole team as a group, did the things that were necessary. The 2-minute drive offensively to go down and score before the half was huge. It was great. Tate made a couple of great throws. On that drive, we had a couple of big plays that we definitely needed, and then to be able to come back there in the first drive of the second half, and had a couple of third down conversions, big run. That was just it was everything that we needed. And you have those rivalry games, there's going to be the momentum swings, there's going to be the ups and downs, and our guys, they were unbelievably confident throughout, and even through some of the challenges that we faced. I mean, they were able to rise up, and I'm just really proud of them. I thought a couple guys that I mentioned yesterday to the team, I thought Akeem Dent played his best football game since he's been at Florida State. I mean, he was absolutely remarkable, and he was. Some of the tackles he made in the open field against really talented backs, was impressive. I thought that he played with confidence. He had whether we're blitzing him, whether he's in coverage, whether he had to make those space plays. Man, he was on it, and really proud of that young man. He's continued to get better. We have big expectations for him, and then to see him continuing to grow even in his last year eligibility, it's impressive to see, and we need to continue that as we go into this week. But I wanted to make mention of him, and then I thought Ja'Kai Douglas's play on the 4th down was a huge play in the game. Tate did a great job getting the ball out. Ja'Kai only had the 1 catch, but man, what a big one! And you just see that's a guy that's really. Made a wonderful impact for us. He had a huge game at Pitt. He's made a couple big plays, throughout the course of the year, and that was a big play and a big moment to continue to drive, to let us go down and put the game leading field goal there at the end. So. Just proud of our guys, proud of the resiliency they showed. It was definitely a team win. And defensively, it was awesome in the second half. It was what we needed, and to finish up the regular season, undefeated was big for us, big for our program. Puts us in position this week as we get a chance to go compete for an ACC championship. It's going to be one heck of a matchup. Got all the respect in the world for Louisville and who they are, and you see the playmakers that they have. You see the coaching staff and the schemes. This is a very complete football team: offense, defense, special teams. They're going to challenge. They've got explosive players. It's going to be a heck of a game, and we're excited for the opportunity. Got a lot of belief in our team and what we can do, and like I told our guys yesterday, I'm extremely excited because we're 12 games into the season, and I see areas for improvement. I see a lot of areas where we get to continue to grow and get better, and I see a football team that's hungry for that. And that started last night. We went out, had a very spirited practice. I thought our guys did a great job in the weight room. They went out on the practice field, really locked in the meeting rooms to find the corrections, make the corrections, and work to apply to get better throughout the course of this week. And we got off to a great start on Sunday. I can't wait to get out on the practice field here tomorrow and continue to take the strides that are necessary to go be better than what we've been. And it was a big win, and obviously anytime you can be state champs and to do that for back-to-back years, it's something that's important to our program, and definitely one that will be talked about and remembered.
First question will be Chris on your left.
I'm going to start you off with a 2-for-1. 2-for-1. Yes. Tate, how did he come out of the game physically feeling? And secondly, how much easier is it for a guy to make a second start after making a first start, in the sense of just a lot of the other stuff is dismissed because you're doing it again?
Yeah, I think that for that to be your first start of the year, and first start in year, in a couple of years, for Tate, I mean, there's a lot that goes to it, and playing in that game, that rivalry, in that environment, it's a lot, and I thought he did. He did a good job. There's some things operationally that we got to continue to be better. We had a couple of delay of game penalties, which it's I think anytime you're around Tate, you see. He is a hard person to get rattled. I mean, he's going to be pretty steady in all things that he does, and I think he showed that in the course of the game. I mean, just the urgency and communication. He sees everything. He sees everything right. There was just a couple times that we let the clock get down on us, and we were rushed in a couple of moments. Those are things that I think that will be an area that will be improved upon this week. Just because of the comfort of repetition, and it was a lot. It was a challenge to communicate. We got to do a good job around him, making sure that 10 other guys are operating as fast as we can as well. But I mean, that was one thing that we pulled in the game that we know we have to be better at. But I think that's his demeanor and his confidence that he had throughout the course of the game is something that you can feed off of. And then he had a couple really big throws. The third down to Johnny down in the red zone on the first touchdown drive, obviously the throw to Jaheim, but then the third, starting out the second half, the crossing route to Johnny was just a big throw and a big moment where one of those plays I already mentioned, the Ja'Kai throw. I mean, those are those times in the game that you need somebody to step up, and he did a great job of that. Obviously got hit, got hit pretty good, there when he was sliding down. I was glad he was able to come back in the game. I think I mentioned yesterday on the press conference, he when he got the clearance and he came over and told me he was good, and so we actually the play that we scored on with Trey was basically a double call where he had to see the look, he had to make the check, and it ended up in a 26-yard touchdown. And I appreciate just his preparation and what he was able to do, and what he did in helping lead us to victory.
It seemed pretty obvious that Florida was focusing on Keon, not going to let him beat him. He's had a couple of games where he's kind of been a little more quiet. Is there something you guys to do differently to scheme him open, or is it just how defense are just taking what the defense gives at that point?
I mean, he had some opportunities. Obviously, you look. I mean, we were limited in overall play, numbers. I mean, the time of possession part of that game was something that made it difficult. But you try to give guys opportunities, and there were some that in his control, and then some that were out of his control, and things that where we can be better. And ultimately, he's a phenomenal player, and we want him to be able to make a positive impact on every game, and he did. He had a big catch to there in that opening drive of the second half. Obviously his punt return was a huge play in the drive to go and regain the lead, and so he's going to make an impact, and obviously we want to give him as many opportunities to impact the game in a positive way that we can. So we're going to continue with that. I thought Johnny played really well. I thought other guys were able to make their presence felt, and that's going to be a part of this week, is trying to find ways to get our playmakers and put them in the best position to go make plays.
Go to Kurt for on your right.
rebuilds of a program often aren't. The growth isn't often linear, but for y'all, I mean, it's been pretty remarkable. Going regular season wins 3 to 5 to 9 to 12. I guess what do you think has been the biggest key to the gradual improvement the last few years have been, and how much is a testament to the players buying into all the steps it was going to take to get here?
Yeah, I mean, it all goes to the players. I mean, the players are the ones that they've made the commitment. They put in the work. You can set a standard, but if people aren't willing to push to the standard and hold themselves accountable to it, I've got an incredible staff. I mean, and even our staff meeting this morning, it's just the constant challenge for improvement, for growth. We have to work as a staff to be an example of that. I think you've got to be humble. You're humble to in the work and to work, and anybody can start feeling good about where you are or what you've done or what you've been able to accomplish. And trust me, that's what I said earlier. One of the things I'm most excited about. We're 12-0. I mean, you have an undefeated regular season. That's 4th time in program history that you've been 4-0 in a season, or 12-0 in a season. But where do you go from here? I mean, there's nothing to be satisfied with. I mean, you're appreciative of the work you put, but I mean, I want better, and these players want better. We want to see that next step to be taken. And this week you get to play in a conference championship, and you win the game. All things are in front of you. So, I'm grateful for every player, for every coach, the entire department, and the support staff, all the investment that's gone in is to see those positive steps. But we're just getting started to where we're going. I absolutely believe that, and it's just when you have a special group of people you get to do this with, you want you want to see all the things they can do, all that they can accomplish, and it's a daily journey, and we have the choice today of what we want it to look like. And if we're willing to continue to push and continue to strive for that improvement, then I think you'll find good things on the other end of it.
You mentioned yesterday on the conference call the slow starts in the last few games, not starting as well as you guys would like, and I think you mentioned also that they were emotional games. How does that manifest? Is it just letting details slip, or why do you think some of those things have happened?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination, because it's not just one area. It's been a variety of things that have shown up early where we have to be better. And I think I definitely don't. I'm pleased with the response. It's a heck of a lot more stressful when you start off the way we have the last 2 weeks. But I mean, our guys are prepared. They understand. It's just it comes down to the execution of all the things that you work throughout the course of a week. And there was a couple of the third down conversions we gave up that, I mean, all the right intentions, eyes are right, just a small fundamental here or there that, lost leverage, gained leverage, a little bit more communication, in that time. And so those things sometimes happen early in the game, and you got to take a deep breath, and you got to, go and respond and make the correction, or just have a little bit more focus on the finer elements of putting yourself in the best position. We saw that there in the very first drive. And I think I might have mentioned after the game, Trey Benson had an unbelievable game as the game went on. I mean, that first run that he had, I was pretty frustrated with the first run. And it's all the things that you work and you do, and he knows it. And he came over straight to the side, Coach, he knew it immediately. But it's just in those times where you want to do everything for your team, and you want this to be the perfect game. You want it to be, you don't have to go and almost do too much. And sometimes I think you see that in those emotional games. So we're going to have an emotional game come Saturday, and all we need to do is just go BS. And we know we're playing a great opponent. We're going to play. I mean, it's going to be a great atmosphere. It's going to be all the things that you want to be able to play in a championship game. But just go play your game, and trust what you see. Trust your fundamentals, and I think that will help contribute to getting to a better and faster start that we're accustomed to.
On the sacks that Tate took, the one in the end zone, and then I think there was one in the second half too. Is that just a matter of more reps, more live game reps, and under know what I mean, like the pocket feel and presence? Is that something that comes with more reps?
The third down. I mean, we got zero blitzed. I mean, and we knew that was a potential of what we could face and what we'd see, and there's things that we had to clean up, and just trusting what we saw, and reacting accordingly. And it was, and then the second one was really, it was a coverage sack that they matched up the concept really well. They got good push inside, and kind of the pocket collapsed on them. Those are the two that there were two different extremes, but I think that the thing I was proud of Tate as much as anything is that he came out of that game and he did not put the ball in jeopardy. He was, we knew that was one of the key components this game. And sometimes when you face that, whether you face a house blitz, if you just throw the ball up, or if you don't, if those things happen, you're putting yourself in in harm's way. Even on the second sack where everything was covered down, they did a really nice job in it, not necessarily forcing it. Obviously he was trying to work himself out of the pocket and to be able to be a threat with that, but I thought it was something he did really well. And then the pass to Ja'Kai was the exact same presentation of pressure of what we were sacked on. And he saw it, he reacted, he put the ball where it needed to be, and that was one of the biggest plays in the game. So you saw growth and progression throughout it, but those are all part of those learning experiences, and things that you practice, and the early application of it, they're within a contest.
Third row on your right.
I know it's a new coach and a different team and all that, but the fact that Louisville was the team that Tate had to come in and beat last year, does that give him any extra confidence going into this game?
It's a different team. They've got a lot of new players. They've got a lot of some guys that are returning, guys that we're familiar with, and but it's. It is the next game. It's the next opportunity. You're playing in a championship game, getting a chance to, the two best teams in the ACC are going to square off, and we got to go. And every player, whether no matter how many games you played up to this point, how many games you started, you got to go be your best in this one. And for Tate, for all, we all have to. Push ourselves to that level this week, and I know we're all excited about the opportunity.
Kind of off topic, but I know you take pride in what other FSU athletic programs do. Volleyball won the ACC co-ACC champion. They're going to be playing Friday, I believe, and then soccer's playing the College Cup on Friday. Just how much excitement does it build when other programs are doing great and you guys are playing the ACC championship game the same weekend?
Oh, it's awesome, and for all the programs right now, to see the continued progression, Coach Penske and what they're doing in soccer, it's exciting. Coach Poole in volleyball, it's remarkable the season that they're having, and as we all continue to aspire for more and putting our best foot forward, it's what makes Florida State special. There is this is a athletic department and university that's striving for excellence, and we're trying to do that on the field, but also with what we're doing off the field. And when you're around successful, like-minded people that have a desire and a push to achieve to the best of our ability, it is contagious within a department. And we are huge fans of all the programs. And with basketball starting off, and Brooke and them, they've started off with a great start. Leonard and the basketball team had one setback, but then it came out with a remarkable response in a top 25 win. That's what this department's about. And we got great people, great student athletes. Just really grateful for the opportunity we get to represent it. And obviously we have our shot come Saturday night.
Wanted to ask you about two Louisville playmakers, Jawar Jordan. What impresses you about him as a running back, his tracks, everything he does, and then Jamari Thrash as a receiver? Why is he so effective? What makes him such a difficult matchup?
Both those guys are tremendous playmakers, and Jordan he's fast, he's strong, he's tough, he's got really good balance and feet. If he gets in the open field, he's got game-changing speed. He's a dynamic player, and he plays in a great system that creates space for him, and he knows what to do when he gets it. It's going to be a great challenge for our guys. I think they've got three backs that are really, really good. So it's definitely a great backfield. Thrash is he's so good with the ball in his hands. He's a guy that can win in routes. He can change directions. He does have the vertical playmaking ability, but when he gets the ball in his hands, he's tough to bring down. He's a catch and run type of player. So you've got to be on top of him in a sense of being sticky in coverage and not allowing him to get too much space. And then, obviously whenever he does get his hands on the ball, you gotta rally to be able to get him down, because if not, he can definitely make you pay.
We'll go to Jordan, third row on your left.
Coach, they ran the ball 44 out of 60 plays. Did you expect them to run the ball that much, and how do you think the defense fared in the rushing attack?
Yeah, we did. I mean, we expected, and we knew that, them having a young quarterback that was really kind of a dual threat. We knew there would be, probably more of those opportunities that would present themselves. And, I thought our guys did a good job. I mean, there was a few things, fit-wise where we were, we got misaligned. We had, a couple misfits that allowed bigger runs than what we wanted. But, I thought our guys, they battled, and they were tough. They were physical. I thought you sensed the pursuit, and, obviously that physical nature of what we wanted to play with, because it was it's a big offensive line. It's a couple of really talented backs, and then just the dynamic of what the quarterback brought to it. But I was proud of our guys, and to be able to make the adjustments there in the second half to try to eliminate some of those bigger runs that they had. It was impressive, and you were able to create a good number of TFLs and explosive plays defensively, and those guys they did a great job.
Aslan in the back right corner.
You made mention about in July you guys had a plan for where you wanted to be in December, and that it's kind of come to fruition. Was it like a supreme confidence you would be 12-0 at this point? Was it hallmarks through the season where you wanted to have certain guys here in October and then have them performing this way in December? Can you kind of maybe talk a little bit more about that?
As you want to see progression. And I know we've talked about it the last few years, but you want to be pushing and playing your best ball in November so that you can go into December and have these opportunities. And to be able to go through the year undefeated, that's a great thing. But you want to make sure that you're putting your players in a position that they are building throughout the course of the year. And guys get bumps, they get bruises, that you get tired. It's part of the journey. But you don't want to see that the fatigue to show up in their performance. You got to be smart with them. You got to make sure you're taking care of them. But you're building them up throughout the season, and at all points to times like this. This is what you do it for, to be able to play in a championship game, to be able to, to carry that over into all things that are beyond. And so, it is do I want to be 12-0? Absolutely, yes. That was to say that we knew exactly that it would be that. We felt like if we prepared and put our guys in the best position, that they could achieve to all that they could, and they've done that to this point. Obviously, we have a plan this week of what we want it to look like, and what we believe we need to go play our best game come Saturday night, and we got to go execute that plan.
We'll go to Jerry, front row on your right.
Mike, the offensive line. It seemed a game where they had challenges with the opponent, and then also maybe with some injuries that they were fighting through, and it seemed they endured throughout the game. Could you talk about if it's grit is the right word? Or
yeah, they have that, and we have we've got good depth on the offensive line, but it's definitely been tested. Guys, Rob Scott. He's had probably. A guy that started 3 years here, and he's had a challenging year just of what he's had to deal with physically, in trying to get himself available throughout the course of the week, and we feel like he's getting getting there and going to be able to provide us more assistance. In that Maurice is he battles. It's just he got rolled up once. He's had to. He's had to fight and work through it. I thought Darius Washington played, probably his best game. I was really pleased with what I saw from him. You see, JB's getting better. We've got a really good group. Some of the challenges that showed up were real, but there's also times that I thought we did a lot of good things, and it's continuing to to make sure that everybody's in flow and in sequence to maximize the opportunities we get, whether it's in protections, whether it's in the run game, and but I mean this is our offensive line. I mean they work their tails off, and it is a talented group. It's one that has been tested, but it's one that's responded with mental toughness, physical toughness, and I know they're going to be ready to battle because we got our hands full this week with an extremely impressive Louisville front.
Stay there for Kurt.
The defensive line rotation, especially early on, is the fourth quarter Saturday kind of with the high-level play Jared and Pat gave you late, kind of proof of concept of how you're hoping that plays out?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just with the defensive front. It's really with as many positions as you can. We're finishing the game strong. And when you're able to see guys, whether it's Byron or Gilbert, they're at the end position that can go in there and give you, really quality reps throughout the course of a game. I mean, that's just that much more gas in the tank that that Jared and Pat will have in those critical situations. And I thought that was a heck of an ending in how those guys were able to play in the fourth quarter, and obviously the impact they were able to make. And so it is a big picture approach. And when I know I had mentioned it, I think it was even in the preseason. Just when you look at successful teams, when you can have that type of rotation throughout the course of the year, I mean, one, it's going to be needed. We've had guys that have been, been up and been down, but when you're able to get to this time of the year and they still have, that growth and you've taken off some of that, pound to their bodies. I mean, it's you get to play at a really high level, whether it's in the fourth quarter or it's the month of November, or now heading into December. So you're definitely excited about how it's all come together.
All right, we're going to go two more. Corey.
I know coaches like to look forward, but when you look back at this season, what Jaden Daniels did to the rest of the schedule, and his only touchdown against you guys came, with a minute left, down by 28, and then also what Clemson has done since you guys beat them. You're the only team to beat them in Death Valley. They're 8-4. They're top 20-ish team. I guess 12-0 is 12-0. That's always awesome. But those wins so long ago now, how important are they? How big are they in hindsight? What you guys did to Jane Daniels and winning in Death Valley?
Yeah, we knew the challenge going in, and it's as the season progresses, there's always going to be different elements that show up, and we knew Jaden Daniels was going to be a really good player this year, and they had very talented receivers. We knew that it was a game that we were going to have to play at a very high level, and I thought our guys, they answered the call. Was it did they make some plays? Yes, they did. But our guys, they battled. We gave up an 80-yard touchdown on with a bunch of young guys getting their very first snap ever, and that was something that still shows up and still something that. But I thought for the majority of that game, I mean, especially the second half, just to do what we did was awesome. And you see how he's progressing. He's had one of the best seasons in college football history, probably. I mean, he's done a remarkable job, and he's a special player. But I was proud of our guys, then, and I'm still proud of them now for what they were able to do, in that game. And then, the Clemson win. I mean, that was, I knew it then. You never know what the final record's going to be, and obviously everybody has their own situations. But I knew going into that place. I mean, it was going to be hard. It was going to be tough, and to do the things that we did, being down, having to come back, to win it in overtime. I didn't expect anybody else to go in there and win, and that's something that we can, point to and say, that's one of those moments. It's something that we needed as a program. It's something that we needed for ourselves, just to show that we could go and do, in a very adverse situation. And nobody wanted to sit there Friday night being down 12-0 on the road. We've been there, and that's where you can take that experience and say, all right, man, stay true to who you are. Go get better. Let's make the adjustments that need to be made. And our guys found a way.
Last one, Ira.
Last two, multi-layered,
making up for it.
With Tate, two things. One, did the down and distance situations and the field position situations, did that affect what you were tempted to do with him in that situation, considering it was his first start in a long time, early in that game?
He's doing early, yeah.
And then also, when he was coming off the field, was he seeing it? And when you watch the film, did he see what he?
Oh, yeah, I thought he, there were a couple of plays where maybe his eyes didn't get exactly where we wanted. I mean, but he saw it. I mean, he was on it. It was a worse combination of things you could hope for at the beginning of a game for a first start of the year, for him. And but that's where you sit there and you like the appreciation for him, like the poise, right? The ability to respond, the intelligence, the preparation. I mean, when we get sacked for a safety and we're down 12-0 and really haven't done anything on offense, to come back on that 2-minute drive and like the throw to Jaheim, I was like, all right, that's a real guy. And third down to Johnny, like he's throwing the ball before Johnny's even coming out of the break. Like, just, man, it makes me so proud. And I'll tell you, I was proud of Brock. I mean, Brock gets thrown in a situation, true freshman, been injured for most of the year. All right, here we go. And like he just like that, he's got something about him that is just it's really impressive. And but there is the expectation. I mean, you never know when your number's going to be called and what are you going to do with it. But I thought Tate saw the field extremely well. He knew where he wanted to go. Like I said, other than just a couple of plays here and there, but a lot of guys have that. And I mean, that's something where that goes back to the very beginning. I said, we're 12-0. We're here at this point, and there's so many areas we get to continue to improve. And now the challenge is on us to go get better.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
You too.